As Shafi said, I do a variety of things. I've worked in industry, I've worked in venture capital, I've worked as a management consultant, still do consulting work, and I'm an investor as well. And I spend a lot of time with startups and large incumbent organizations. And as I thought about my talk today, I thought I'd go through my typical strategies for success, how to pitch, how to position yourself as a startup. But I thought I'd take a bit of a different approach today and focus on something a little bit different and talk a little bit about what I see as the challenge with the most advanced biotechnology on the planet today. In fact, the most advanced biotechnology that's ever been on the planet, which is you, the human body, the entrepreneur, and the innovator. And I've done a fair amount of research in understanding what makes a successful entrepreneur, what makes innovators successful. So I won't bore you with a lot of Oxford University research about the difference between causal reasoning and effectual reasoning and all the statistics behind that. I've spent a lot of time trying to understand what makes a good entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, right? Getting beyond the hype of social media, getting beyond the hype of memes and the failure narrative, the Richard Branson, hey, I lost £1 million, not a big deal. Well, when you have $1 billion in your pocket, losing £1 million isn't a big deal. But for most of us, losing several thousand pounds, several $1,000s can be a challenge for us. So what is the challenge that we have, and what are the attributes that makes entrepreneurs and innovators successful? So I've boiled it down to these 6 key attributes. Now, what's really important to understand is all 6 of these are absolutely necessary and they're interdependent. So you can't have 5 of these and expect to be successful. And they are very interdependent. So I'll try to describe that briefly because I want to really talk about the challenge we have with realizing these attributes in ourselves. So the first is creativity, right? You have to have an idea. You have to have a passion about solving a problem, right? So just the ability to come up with an idea. You need creativity. That seems pretty straightforward. But equally important is you need the ability of observation. So it's great to have an idea, but that idea needs to be placed in the context of a broader environment. What problem are you trying to solve? Who else is solving that problem? How has that problem been solved before? What are the alternatives to solving the problem, right? What does the entire ecosystem look like, right? The powers of observation. So once you have an idea and you've observed the broader environment, the next aspect is to really focus, right? You have to get down to the business plan. How am I going to take this to market? Who am I going to focus on? How will I develop this? What kind of team do I need around me? And then there's this next aspect, which is clarity. Now, clarity sits at the intersection of observation and creativity and focus, right? So clarity is understanding, right, not just the focus of what I'm doing, but the ability to monitor the environment around me and continue those powers or attributes of observation. And of course, you need energy, right? We need mental and physical energy. So we're here in the Health Summit, part of Webit, and everyone wants to who wants to improve patient experiences? Yeah, right. Raise your hand, shout out, right? Who wants to improve patient outcomes, right? Yeah. So who wants to be a patient? Yeah, nobody wants to be a patient, right? So we need to think about how do we have the best mental and physical energy, and then we need confidence, right? As an entrepreneur, you need the confidence about what you're doing, why you're doing it. As Eugene talked about, he didn't hit on this too much, but I bet if you seek Eugene out, he will tell you this. Most of the investment decision is based on the team. It's not the product. It's not the service, it's not the technology, it's the team. Because chances are the product, whatever idea you have, whatever you're focusing on today, it will evolve. And as an investor, what we want to invest in is a team that's confident, who can face the trials and challenges of being a startup, who can evolve and pivot and be agile on their journey. Now, having said all that, which way? This way. There we go. All right, so these 6 attributes, critically important. You must have all 6 to be a successful entrepreneur. But here's the thing, right? The very thing we need, these 6 attributes, the things we need as business leaders, as innovators, and as entrepreneurs, we put at risk by the very nature of the pursuit of our passions, the way we go about doing it. So, can you relate to this?
You kill yourself for recognition, you kill yourself to never ever stop. You broke another mirror, you're turning into something you are not. Don't leave me high.
These 6 attributes we put at risk by our behaviors, things that we can control. Working late hours, getting up early, skipping meals, eating fast food, co-working environments. How many of you miss a lunch? You figure it's 3, 4, 5 p.m. in the afternoon, you haven't eaten yet, grab another coffee, and back to the grind. Where does this come from? The root of the work ethic that simply doesn't work today is rooted in Western, white, male, assembly line, manufacturing thinking. This is what we teach in universities today. I sit on the Accredited and Diploma Programs Committee at the University of Oxford Said Business School. Our curriculum today still propagates this leadership and management theory that simply isn't fit for purpose in today's knowledge-based economy. So what can we do to improve these 6 attributes? What can you do? What actions can you take? So for me, there's immense pressure out there in terms of, so look, I'm a man of a certain age, I'm white, I'm male, I'm never going to be up for an award, right? I'm not going to be in the 40 under 40, the 30 under 30, right? We're all just waiting for Forbes to come out with the 5 under 5 top entrepreneurs, right? Next rat race we get on. For me, discovering how to enhance these 6 attributes didn't happen out of research. It happened by, digital disruption. Literally, my digital disruption. I broke the 5th metacarpal on my left hand and was completely out of commission for about a month and a half. It was the first time in my life I actually had to stop and take stock and think about who I was, what I was doing, how I was acting, and I realized that the habits that I created for myself at that point in time would likely be the habits that I would end up dying with 100 years from now, because we're going to live a long time, right? But these were going to be the habits that I would take into the second half of my life. And I'd like to share these with you because for you to be successful is critically important to everyone, right? The innovators, the entrepreneurs in the health tech space, you're doing fantastic work, and you need to take care of yourself first. As an investor, I invest in you, and I want to invest in the best human technology possible. So what can you do? So one is unfocus. We need to take a break. Think about meditation, a time where you can completely disconnect from everything. Unfocused time. It's critically important. And I know we're typically driven by always on, work more hours, early bird gets the worm, that kind of thinking. But this is really important time. So how do you get, it's 10 minutes. How do you get 10 minutes? Download an app, wake up 10 minutes earlier every morning, and spend some time to completely disconnect. Unfocused time. And then think about refocusing, learning a new skill. Now, if you're in the tech space, learning another programming language isn't it. right? Learn something completely different, outside your comfort zone. Take an art class, learn a new language, take a pottery course, learn to dance, do something different. It will fire up connections in your brain that haven't been there. Learning something new forces you to think about something different. And it's oftentimes, this is where some great ideas can really come from. Right? When you're actually not thinking about the problem you're trying to solve, but you're doing something different. The other thing is network theory. Social network theory comes into play here. So our most valuable network connections are not our first and second nodes. They're your third and fourth nodes. The people you're directly connected to and the people they're directly connected to, your first and second nodes, are typically much like you. It's not until you get to that third or fourth node that you find people different, that will bring you new ideas, take you outside the usual suspects group. And so by refocusing and learning a new skill, you'll meet people you wouldn't have run into. You'd be amazed at how they'll contribute to what you're trying to accomplish. And then the third aspect is simply exercise, right? Energize. When we exercise, when we move, we release chemicals in our body that actually impact the way we think and the way we feel. Now, it doesn't have to be going to the gym. It doesn't have to be pumping iron. It doesn't have to be lifting weights and those kinds of things. It could be as simple as go for a walk at lunch, which takes me to the fourth area, which is think about what you're eating. Right? So what do we know, for all of you that study genetics and genomics, right? What we know about nutrition is this. You know, our genetics, our DNA, that's like hardware. But epigenetics, the epigenome, that's like the software. And we can actually change the behaviors. We can change how our DNA will act and respond through environment and nutrition. So thinking about eating healthy, eating regularly, having a good meal, single ingredient foods, non-white foods, really simple things. But these four things can make a huge difference in your life. And so for me, it's, you know, these 6 attributes and these 4 habits, they make what I call the perfect 10. Very early on in life, when I was in much better shape than I am today, I coached elite level women's gymnastics, coached 3 members of the United States national team and 1 member of Finland's national team, and 2 Olympians and 1 University World Games winner, or gold medalist. And so back when I coached gymnastics, it was all about getting the perfect 10. So I want you to think about these 6 attributes and these 4 behavioral nudges that can make a massive impact in your life, help you as an innovator and entrepreneur, and help you to succeed. Thank you very much.
Tap me out and tap me into you. Heal my